Do you ever feel like life is just happening to you? Like you're stuck in a game where someone else is rolling the dice, moving the pieces, and deciding your fate? Maybe you blame your boss for your stress, your parents for your self-doubt, or society for your lack of success. And hey, on the surface, it all sounds pretty fair. But what if I told you that every time you think this way, you're handing over your power, not in some mystical, positive vibes only kind of way, but in a real, measurable, psychological way? This video is about how we quietly, unconsciously give away our control, and how to take it back, starting right now. Psychologists call it your locus of control. It's your belief about where the power in your life actually comes from. If you have an external locus of control, you believe that your life is shaped mostly by forces outside of you, other people, luck, fate, the economy, the weather, your horoscope. In contrast, an internal locus of control means you believe your actions and decisions shape your reality. It's a mindset shift that can radically change your life. Here's the brutal truth. When you live from an external locus of control, you become weak. Not because you're inherently weak, but because you're surrendering the driver's seat. You start seeing yourself as a passenger, just along for the ride while other people steer. And in doing so, you become a victim. A victim of other people's choices, of bad luck, of the way things are. Now, let's be clear, life isn't always fair. Injustice is real. Pain is real. But if you let those truths become the foundation of your mindset, you'll always be stuck waiting for someone else to make things better. And guess what? They won't. This is where internal locus of control comes in. When you choose to believe that you're responsible for your outcomes, even when life throws you into the deep end, you stop being a victim and start being a creator. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What can I do with this?" A powerful example of this mindset is Aleksandr Solzhenitsyn. In 1945, after criticizing Joseph Stalin in a private letter, he was arrested and thrown into a Soviet labor camp for 8 years. Then, for good measure, he was exiled for 3 more. Sounds like a solid reason to blame the system, right? But he didn't. Instead of blaming the government or the people who turned him in, Solzhenitsyn did something almost unthinkable. He took responsibility for his situation. In the Gulag archipelago, he wrote that no matter what situation you're in, you can examine your life with a fine-tooth comb and find the mistake that landed you there. Not because you deserve the punishment, but because there's always a part of us, however small, that played a role. And if we can find that part, we can learn from it. We can change. We can reclaim control. That's a radical idea. One that most people reject. Because let's face it, it's uncomfortable. It's easier to blame than to reflect. It's easier to say, "They did this to me," than to ask, "What did I overlook? Where did I choose silence instead of courage? What did I allow?" But those who do embrace this mindset, they get their power back. Solzhenitsyn didn't just survive prison, he grew from it. He said, "Bless you, prison, for having been in my life." Think about that. He didn't curse the bars. He used them to nourish his soul. He turned the worst chapter of his life into one of the most important literary works of the 20th century. Now let's bring it back to you. Where are you giving your power away without realizing it? Who or what are you blaming for your frustration, your fear, your stuckness? And what would happen if, just for a moment, you stopped pointing fingers and started looking inward? Taking back control isn't about guilt or self-blame. It's about freedom. Because the moment you realize you had a role in how things turned out, you also realize you can play a role in changing them. This mindset doesn't make life easier, but it makes you stronger. It shifts your focus from things you can't control, what others say, what the world thinks, what already happened, to the things you can, your choices, your habits, your attitude, your next step. So the next time you're tempted to say, "If only they hadn't," or "This always happens to me," pause. Ask yourself, am I giving my power away? And if the answer is yes, take it back. Because the truth is, you're not a pawn. You're not just a product of your circumstances. You are a creator. And your life begins to change the moment you stop waiting for someone else to give you permission to live it. Let the world throw what it will. You still get to choose your response. And in that response, your power is waiting. If you found this video meaningful and interesting, drop a comment below and share your experience. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might find this content useful. And as always, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time